Grasp the term Latin American slums or Mexican slums. 35 million people in Mexico City, about a third of them living in giant open sewers built out of cardboard boxes. I don't blame them wanting to come up here. The problem is putting them on welfare in places like California that's already bankrupt many times over is only going to sink this country down the tubes. If we had a chance to put a libertarian free market government in Mexico, I would donate time and money to try to help Mexico. I want to build up Africa. That's why I got so upset about the murder of Muammar Gaddafi. Because you can say whatever you wanted about him. I've interviewed the journalists, you name it, that have been there all over Africa. He was building up all of Africa. He was taking the oil money of Libya. And he was living almost in a shack himself behind a big wall. I'm not lionizing him. It's just, it's true. And he was building up Africa and putting in water wells and roads and oil wells and building an African Union for Africans. And they told him, oh, be buddies with the West, brought him in for 8 years, set him up and killed him. And now it's admitted in the Christian Science Monitor and other publications, major studies, that Libya is 10+ times worse. In fact, they even quoted it astronomically bad. It is now road warrior, where it was big hotels and giant roads and airports. The globalists do not have anybody's interest at heart. I wish that I could visit Africa and not be hated in almost every African country as a white man. They just banned in African countries under Mugabe. They just banned whites, period, owning property. Again, a race-based system, because when you get dumbed down, ignorant masses, whether it's in the poor South, people living in shacks, they become members of the Klan because it's all they've got. Or poor people in Southern California who are Hispanic, they become members of La Raza and Mecha. The difference is you don't go to college or you don't get accepted in those communities unless you join it. And it wasn't as radical in the 60s. It's designed by the Pentagon, by the globalist. Look this up. And they have hundreds of TV and radio stations called the Raza or called La Reconquista. Look it up. It means the invasion or the reconquering. And what are you conquering? What? With slums? With drug lords? With sewage running down the streets? I mean, I wouldn't mind being conquered by Switzerland right now. I wouldn't mind being conquered by Luxembourg. I wouldn't mind being conquered by the Ritz-Carlton. I mean, if they were pro-gun, pro-family. I've been conquered by the eugenicist New World Order, and so have you. But waking up to the fact we've been conquered is the beginning of the end of this. And so they want to make sure that Hispanics don't learn English. They want to make the main language Spanish now. First, it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago in Texas and California and Colorado and Arizona and Nevada. Oh, let's just make it bilingual. And then it's, you know what? We're just not going to teach English. And you know what? If you don't speak perfect Spanish, forget working at this car dealership or at this restaurant or at this hotel. And then the Hispanics don't learn the global language, the imperial language of the British Empire that's spoken in every country by the ruling elite is English. You want to advance? Speak English. You want to be successful? Speak English. Is it good to know how to speak German or Chinese or Spanish or Portuguese? Absolutely. Is it good to know how to speak Bedouin or Arabic? I would imagine so. But you got to have one language, English, one language. They don't want you knowing the number one thing they want to work for a multinational corporation or to work in communications or to work across the board is English, 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 English. Hey, Robert Rodriguez knows how to speak English. He got raised by a affluent white family, a well-known architect. Yes, Robert, I know all about you. And not only that we're a listener and your wife's a listener, but that you've joined a radical race cult and that you hate my guts. And I know all about everything else too, Robert. And I just hope you can hold on to your sanity, bud, because you've gone crazy. Now, continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, with all the things that are going, when he hosts Obama this week to hike their leg on Texas and freedom and promote the La Reconquista. This is the reality of what's unfolding in this society. And there is a rebranding where Americans are told, you don't have a culture. It's not freedom. It's not guns. It's not John Wayne. That was Manifest Destiny. It certainly wasn't perfect. No, it is gangster, drug cartel, the skinny one, Grim Reaper. How do you say that in Spanish? There's the female skinny one and the male skinny one. And then the big drug cartels either join the male Grim Reaper or the female Grim Reaper. I forget how you pronounce it.
Delgado is skinny.
No. I'm not talking about the Day of the Dead. That's another thing, honoring your ancestors. I'm talking about the sociology research I was doing. And we had a professor on who's written a book about it, and it's the death cult of Mexico. And they worship the Grim Reaper. You see it on the cars everywhere. The point here, and they worship the drug cartel leaders. I mean, this is the worship of thugs, the worship of a chief, the worship of El Jefe. This is the worship of warlords. This is like a Somali-style government. You wonder why Mexico can't field an Olympic team? You wonder why Mexico acts like the Horn of Africa, acts like Somalia? Because that's what it is now. It's gone from colonialism that was bad enough, out of Aztec slavery into colonialism, and then into El Jefeism, and then now we're under El Jefeism with Obama, the big chief.
It's Santa Muerte.
Santa Muerte, that's right. That's the female one. So this is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. And when you get a total culture of death, it's over for your society. It's very scary. Let me read the headlines at drudgereport.com. And we also have some of these up on Infowars.com. Border breakdown, deportations of dreamers drops. It was already almost nothing if you can get here and you're a teenager. Now it's ending, and he has big events and big award ceremonies to honor the illegals. Again, to get more of them up here, feds to bring in riot squad against protesters. That's right. And in Dallas, they're announcing in Grand Prairie, don't come out and protest against it. They want to store them. All the major Dallas cities are advertising, come here, we want you. Clash in California, Villa La Raza. We're going to play that clip in a moment. Border Protection Chief. These are not dangerous individuals. No, they're all angels. Perry, Obama either inept or doesn't care. No, he cares. He's doing this on purpose. Some on right push to impeach. Wire, backlash stirs against foreign worker visas. Activist distributes flashlights to crossers. Agent contracts scabies. That's flesh-burrowing mites. 40 infected immigrants. And it just goes on and on and on and on. They're being released into the population with any disease you can imagine, from tuberculosis to you name it. You wonder why we have all these drug-immune diseases now? Militia group heading to the border. 500 released at bus station every day in Texas alone, according to Democratic congressmen. That's a total whitewash. Marietta mayor, feds never contacted us about dumping. Well, just send them to Grand Prairie or Dallas or Fort Worth. They've said bring unlimited. And if a citizen slave there sticks their head up, riot police are standing by, scum. Border Patrol officials under gag order. You know, we broke that weeks ago. Now it's mainstream news. War zone, 11 killed, 60 wounded in Chicagoland over the holiday weekend alone. But you never hear about that in the national news, where they have a total gun ban under the absolute mob boss, the former White House Chief of Staff, Rahm Emanuel, whose brother helped write the Obamacare and admitted on Fox News 6 months ago the plan is to bankrupt health care with Obamacare. The plan is to bankrupt health care. The plan is to bankrupt the border states. The plan is to bankrupt the power plants. And then that means you. I can't tell you how many yuppies have sent me emails or on the street said, I don't care if they're shutting down power plants. I don't own one. Idiots. That's where you get the cheap power. Idiots. that have electric cars and look down on everybody else that has a gas-powered car. I'm not against your electric car, but it takes in the equations more energy and more greenhouse gas to charge your vehicle than it does to have a gasoline or diesel vehicle. Coal is better than natural gas to burn and cleaner. And I love natural gas. People always accuse me of working for oil companies. I haven't seen one nickel from an oil company. I'll tell you, my family's got some gas wells, and they'd be making a lot more money if people were forced on gas. Like a lot of these globalists are pushing because they own gas as well. So I would make money off gasoline getting shut down. But I don't, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to keep the whole economy going. I don't want to be the only person with money and nobody else has got it. And again, it's not that much money anyways. Hell, all over East Texas and areas, it's like most people have a gas well in their backyard. Not much comes out of them, but we've got a few good-sized ones, but they've got them turned off because gas prices are so low. And again, people don't understand energy. They don't understand anything. They just know it's hype. It's fun to say, I'm part of the Raza. And then CNN has the nerve. Here's the report. We've got the newscast up there as well. Sally Cohn is a progressive activist, read revolutionary overthrow technician, columnist and television commentator. And it goes on. She says that the I word is un-American and equivalent to the N word. Here's the quote from the transcript. Today, most people find the N word and the F word incredibly offensive. Let's hope that most, if not all people, will feel the same way about words illegals and illegal immigrants in the not-too-distant future. These are people lawlessly trying to break our country, lawlessly trying to bankrupt the nation, saying your children belong to the state. And then the White House resident tranny, according to Joan Rivers. I thought she was a snapping turtle myself. The first lady comes out and says, don't use the word bossy. It has an anti-feminine quality, anti-feminist connotation, as if it does. Or as if it did, so what? It's your free speech. We need to be brash and use words they don't like on purpose, so these authoritarian control freaks who think they sit up there and lecture you and tell you what words you can use. Remember what happened last year when the city of Seattle said do not bring paper brown bags to work because it's offensive to minorities because they're brown? And you go, that's crazy. No one's ever used brown bag in a racial connotation. But so what if they did? It just means a cheap paper bag. This is crazy. But then you understand, they know it's crazy. It's meant to say we define everything. Don't use brown paper bags. Don't use the word bossy. Don't have a Nerf gun in your backyard with your friends. We'll expel you from school, even though there's no authority to do it. It's the raw, naked, crazy exercise of power. To say, we're going to flood the country with 30 million illegals, legalize them, and let them bring their family members in, and if you don't like it and you don't like paying for it, you're a racist. Excuse me? If you don't turn your guns in, you're in the Ku Klux Klan. Excuse me? The NRA was founded by the North at the end by Christians to arm blacks against the Klan. On record, indisputable fact. And you're saying it's the Klan. And of course it's going to stir up a bunch of racist whites as well. Generally low income, who've been competing against immigrant labor and who've had immigrants do racist things to them. Look, you take the average redneck poor white person. The closest people there to is a redneck Mexican. The Mexicans I know are more redneck than any white person I know. Cowboy trucks, cowboy hats, even listen to country music. Because that's where the cowboy culture came from. Was Spain? It came from Mexico, folks. I don't have anything against those people, but they are taking them and branding them and getting Latin American immigrants that are mainly communist and are not really a Spanish culture, which is European. It's not even Mesoamerican. It's just socialist dictatorships for 70, 80 years. And it goes on and on and on, and they just get up here, and it's a total takeover. Let's play The Hispanic Ku Klux Klan, Mecha La Raza, down there bullhorning in Marietta, California, saying Viva La Raza, up with the race of Hispanics. Here it is. I mean, that is a race-based group. 100%. And that's nothing. I mean, if people are freaked out by this, I literally have hundreds of clips of all this stuff that we're just going to be airing here on the air and doing special reports on. In fact, get a bunch of them queued up for tomorrow. And if we can, for the nightly news tonight, I want to shoot a special report on this that will also air tomorrow with all the different La Raza clips and the mayor of Austin saying Hispanics are the superior race. I mean, this is out of control. And they take the most poor, dumbed-down people who have no future and who literally think white people are out to get them and blacks are out to get them. And I don't understand why on Spanish radio it's acceptable, to call black people blackbirds, which is the N-word in Mexico, mayata. And things are so politically correct, I use that term. It's like I was bad using it. No, it's documentary form. I am detailing what's going on here. The truth is, I know what comes around goes around. I want black people super rich and affluent and powerful and successful because that's who I want to be around. I want Hispanics to be super powerful, affluent, successful, and amazing. If I like your music or I like your culture, I like you. I don't look at what color you are. And quite frankly, there is an attack on white culture because it's seen as Western civilization to override it by the Democratic Party, by the Southern Poverty Law Center, and other groups. And I, quite frankly, am sick of it. I'm sophisticated enough putting up with racism my whole life from blacks and Hispanics, the minority of those that have bought into this. I'm sophisticated enough to not blame all blacks or Hispanics. But most people aren't as sophisticated as I am. And a lot of whites who weren't racist are so sick of being treated badly when they were bleeding hearts that they're bouncing back the other direction, which is what the globalists want, is to create total balkanization, division. We are gang-related. We are race-based. We have to have a Bill of Rights Constitution gang. People are gang mentality. Well, how about we join the gang of liberty and freedom and equality?
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there was a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level. Now, I know that you reap what you sow. In this life and the next, my friends. That's why I only put out what I believe to be the absolute truth on air and what I believe empowers humanity across the board. I don't believe in win-lose situations long term. I believe in win-win. And the advice I'm giving everyone out there, I don't care what color you claim you are or what your religion is or where you came from, anything the globalists are pushing is bad. And everybody already knows that. Of course, Obamacare was a screw job. Of course, the government's publicly funding al-Qaeda worldwide to engage in killing up to 300,000 Christians in Syria alone. By the way, those Christians are brown, and they're killing white Christians in Ukraine. The globalists don't like Christians. And I don't mean these fake glitterbug Christians at the mega churches up there with their NLP brainwashing. State-run. I'm talking about the real Christians. Why is that happening? You think this government cares about you when they would fund al-Qaeda taking over Iraq, Syria, Libya, and areas of Egypt, crucifying Christians upside down, blowing up their churches? And you think they really care about brown people from Latin America? They're using them as a weapon. You see, because I'm part of the Raza myself, the human race. And I think the Ku Klux Klan, if I've protested more than 15 times, is disgusting, mainly Fed-run, just like La Raza and Mecha is Fed-run, except they're Fortune 500 sponsored, and their garbage is force-fed on Hispanic youth across this country. That's despicable. You got all the White House funding secretly to Robert Rodriguez. That'll be coming out soon. To produce all these La Raza TV shows. Yeah, state-run media. We've been working on that investigative report for a while. Obama, the Mexican Mafia, and Robert Rodriguez. Remember who got the script for Machete? They said it wasn't the script. Turned out it was the script. Is there nothing America won't put up with, huh? Is there nothing? Video, veteran arrested at gunpoint for legal open carry. And you've got the ding-dong female cop running up with a shotgun in his face like she's found a terrorist. What a moron. Dallas-Fort Worth city plans heavy police presence to discourage border protests. To discourage, because they're going to ship them into Grand Prairie by the tens of thousands. And the cops are telling you with the mayor, American citizens, you keep your head down and shut up, trash. We got the new political class here. They're going to vote to turn Texas blue and take those guns. Oh, yeah, Dallas is going Democrat, folks. And again, you're like, well, at least, you know, Republicans are bad, too. And in Texas, the Republican platform is pretty darn good, folks. But not for long. They will ban the guns, and they will send the armored vehicles. There will be a civil war. And the cops love it, I guess. I know they actually don't love it, but you're going to be where the rubber meets the road, buds. Continuing here, coming soon, TSA mind-reading scanners to catch terrorists. Interesting article by Paul Watson. Hobby Lobby decision creates small island of freedom in ocean of statism. That's on Infowars.com. What's your startlingly, that's hard to read. What your startlingly intimate, voyeuristic NSA file looks like. That's harder than saying he did something with seashells by the seashore. I forget that tongue twister we all did when we were a kid. Top general says Mexican border security now existential threat to U.S. What are the machines thinking? John Rappaport. And this is going to tie into our next guest. I just printed it again, guys. It's on the printer out there. The almighty dollar is in peril as the global de-dollarization trend accelerates. Very important article by Michael Schneider up on Infowars.com. But I do want to briefly get to this video by Mikhail Phelan up on Infowars.com on this incredible incident that's only now been released via the trial of what happens when you openly engage in open carry. And you look at the look on this woman's face, this cop. I mean, she sees the enemy, and that is, of course, a citizen. And they will come to known open carry demonstrations, even in San Antonio, and will arrest people till we show up 1,500. And then as soon as our demonstration was over, when there was a few people left, they would arrest them. Even though the state has said the ordinance in San Antonio is illegal, the police chief doesn't care because he knows best, because we can't have people walking around with guns because you want to be the only one with a gun. You want to feel special with a gun on your hip where we can't have guns on our hip. Now, I know most cops, national surveys show over 95%, look it up, and study after study are pro-gun because they get it. But the police chiefs work for the feds by and large. I don't care if it's Austin, Texas, or San Antonio. And they need to be put in their place. This is our country. You're not the only one that gets to have a gun. You understand that? Get that through your head. And they said they were going to arrest us when we came down there to demonstrate, 1,500 of us, with the land commissioner, Jerry Patterson. They didn't do that, did they? No, they didn't. And I didn't read off a teleprompter when I gave my speech. I screamed so loud I blew my voice out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I yell so loud, folks, my larynx starts bleeding. That's because I love freedom. Alex Jones here to break down some exciting developments in the area of research concerning supplemental iodine. It's nothing less than phenomenal. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. And I used some of the mainline iodine supplements and they upset my stomach and I had some issues with it. Until I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group, who I was already interviewing as an expert on my radio show, and I began taking the product before he actually rolled it out. You now know it as Survival Shield True Nascent Iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals that are incredibly powerful that no one else has as a source for their iodine from between 7,000 and 12,000 feet, literally drilled out of the ground. You put it on a hot plate and it turns into the pure gas. No one else has 99.99% pure iodine. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. I was over 270 pounds. And with the iodine, exercise, and better diet, I have lost now more than 50 pounds total, and I'm continuing to lose the weight. I have more energy, my libido, all this crap came out of my skin. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating. This is trailblazing. And the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.